is my guide, Attar is my guide. By the grace of Allah, Attar is my guide. My Murshid has changed millions of lives. The prophetic Sunnah, he is revived. The leader of the Sunnis, he is our pride. By the grace of Allah, Attar is my guide.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen. Amma ba'd, fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalatu wassalamu alayka ya Rasulallah, wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Habiballah. Assalatu wassalamu alayka ya Nabiyallah, wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Noorallah. Dear Islamic brothers, dear viewers and listeners of Madani channel, we welcome you to another beautiful episode of the Silsila, Discourses of Attar. At the outset of the Silsila, at the very beginning, please make as many good intentions as possible. Make good intentions, for example, that I will listen to this dars or bayan for the pleasure of Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal. I will note down the important points, I will try to implement them and practice upon them in my life, teach them to others, to my children, my spouse, my family and friends, and my society, inshallah ta'ala. In this way, the more good intentions you make, inshallah ta'ala, you will gain more rewards, inshallah Azza wa Jal. Indeed, there are many benefits and blessings for us to recite abundant amounts of durood, salawat, salutations upon Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. It is mentioned in a summary of a blessed hadith that our beloved Master, the owner of Jannah, the knower of the unseen, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, has stated in a summary of hadith that the person who recites salawat, durood upon me 50 times daily, I will shake hands with him on the day of judgment. Subhanallah. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Salatu wa salaman alayka ya Rasulullah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Therefore, dear viewers and listeners of Madani channel, try to recite abundant amounts of durood and salat upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is for our benefit. In our previous episode, we had discussed few ways or few actions if a person does, these can be the causes of him having a bad end, of him having a bad death, that possibly the person can lose his iman, lose his faith. Some of the examples are a person who develops a relationship with a ghayr mahram woman. Ghayr mahram women are those females whom you are allowed to marry. People who indulge in premarital, postmarital, extramarital relationships with these kind of women, and the men as well. There is a possibility because of this sin for them having a bad end. Furthermore, developing bad relationships with amrids. Amrid is a beardless, handsome youngster. To have bad intentions and to create a relationship with him, this too can be a reason for a bad end. We had given many examples in the previous episode. Furthermore, the person who consumes riba, interest or usury, this can lead to a bad end. The person who has the ability, the financial ability, physical ability to travel on Hajj, to perform his pilgrimage, but does not, this too can lead to a bad end, a very horrible death. May Allah Azza wa Jal save our iman, especially at the time of death. Furthermore, our Shaykh al-Tariqat, Amir Ahl Sunnat, Hazrat Allama Maulana Abu Bilal, Muhammad Ilyas Attar Qadri, Razvi Ziyai, Damd Barakatuhum al-Aliyah, has given more examples of this to awaken us to the traps of shaitan. We all know that Satan, the cursed one, at one stage, he was the teacher of the angels. He himself was not an angel. He was from amongst the jinn, but he was a teacher of the angels at one stage. But because of his pride and his boastfulness, these things destroyed him and he became a disbeliever. He became a non-Muslim. Therefore, he does all his might He puts in all his efforts to try to mislead people. He spends his every moment in creating evil whispers, waswasa, in the person's heart. And when that person is about to die, he uses all his power to anyhow try to snatch his iman, the person's faith, so the person has a bad death, a bad ending. It is stated that when a person is about to leave this world, listen very carefully, dear viewers of Madani channel. When a person is about to leave this world, when he's about to die, then two devils, two Satans, they come and they sit on his right and left hand side. The Satan on the left, he adopts the appearance of that person's father, and he says, "Oh my son, look, I am your kind and concerned father. I advise you to accept a different religion, the religion of Christianity, and then die, because this is the best religion." The Satan on the right side, he advises him as he comes in the form of, or the appearance of the mother, the person's mother, and advises him, "Oh my beloved child, I kept you in my womb. I fed you milk and I cared for you in my lap. Oh beloved son, I advise you that you should accept a different religion, accept the religion of Judaism before dying, because this is the best religion." Dear Islamic brothers, dear viewers and listeners of Madani channel, it is certainly a very worrisome issue. When a person has a fever or has a severe headache, it is very difficult for him to make a clear decision. The pain at the time of death is even more severe. It is stated in Sharh al-Sudur that if a drop of the pain during death is distributed among the inhabitants of all the worlds and the skies, all of them would die. If at this delicate moment, if Satan appears in the form of a person's parents, imagine how difficult it would be to remain steadfast on the religion of Islam. It is stated in Kimia-e-Sa'adat that Sayyidina Uwaymar bin Amir, famously known as Sayyidina Abu Darda radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, states, "By Allah Azza wa Jal, no one can feel self-assured and confident that at the time of death he will remain in Islam." The great Hujjatul Islam, Hazrat Sayyidina Imam Muhammad bin Muhammad Ghazali, rahmatullah ta'ala alayhi, has stated, when death is nearing, Satan appears with his companions, disguised as the friends and the relatives of the dying person. They all say to this person, "Brother, we have already tasted death before you. Whatever happens after death, we are fully aware of it. Now it is your time. We advise you that you should adopt a different religion, adopt the religion of Judaism, because this is the religion which is accepted to Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal." If that dying person does not accept this advice, these devils, these shayateen, they appear in the shape of his other friends and advise him, adopt the religion of another, adopt the religion of Christianity, because this is the religion which has cancelled the religion of Moses, Musa alayhi salam. In this manner, they adopt various and different disguises in the form of various friends, and they advise him to adopt the belief and aqidah of different misled groups and sects. For whomsoever it was written that he would turn away from the truth, would accept the corrupt sects and groups and become misled. May Allah Azza wa Jal have mercy on our condition. We don't know what will happen to us at the time of death. We have committed many sins. We do not have any good deeds to our name. We should make dua, O Allah Azza wa Jal, prevent shaitan, the cursed Satan, from coming to us at the time of death, and bless us with a visit from Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Dear Islamic brothers, dear viewers and listeners of Madani channel, Muslims should always be fearful of the divine hidden plan of Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal. We do not know which bad deed can earn the eternal wrath and anger of Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal and become a danger to our iman. We should continue to display humility and humbleness in front of Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal. Try to speak less, because at times while talking excessively we may utter words of kufr, disbelief, and not even be aware of it, that we have uttered words of blasphemy. We may utter words of disbelief and not be aware of it. This is a great danger. We should always strive to protect our iman, our faith, and be concerned about it always. Our master Al-Hazrat Imam Ahmad Raza Khan rahmatullah ta'ala alayhi has stated, he who does not fear losing his iman while he is alive, there is a fear that he could lose his iman at the time of death. May Allah Azza wa Jal grant us that understanding to be concerned about protecting our iman. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Dear Islamic brothers, dear viewers and listeners of Madani channel, indeed we must worry. We must worry that we should be very worried, in fact, because we do not know that what is the divine hidden plan of Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal in store for us, each individual. We don't know what our ending will be like, how we will die, where we will die, in what condition we will die. Hujjatul Islam, Sayyidina Imam Muhammad bin Muhammad Ghazali rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi has stated, if you wish to remain safe from a bad end, from a bad death, then spend your entire life in obedience to Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal. Save yourself from every type of sin. You will achieve the fear of those who are the arifin. This is a very high stage of wilayah, sainthood. Due to this, your weeping and your tears must become prolonged, and you must remain saddened all the time. He rahmatullah ta'ala alayhi further states, you should busy yourself preparing for a good end. Make tayyari and preparation for a good death, a good end. Busy yourself in dhikrullah, remembrance of Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal. Remove the love of the dunya, of the world, from your heart. Protect your body and your heart from sins. Protect yourself from looking at bad people. Once a person came to the respected court of our master, Al-Hazrat Imam Ahmad Raza Khan rahmatullah ta'ala alayhi, and he requested the great Imam, the great Alim, the great saint rahmatullah ta'ala alayhi to make dua for him to have a good death with iman, with his belief intact. Our master Al-Hazrat Imam Ahmad Raza Khan rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi made dua for this person and advised him. He said, you should recite 41 times daily in the morning, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum La ilaha illa anta, with Durood Sharif, with salawat, before and after this dua. That is 41 times every day. In the morning we should recite Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum La ilaha illa anta, with durood, with salat, before and after. Another wazifa that Allah Hazrat rahmatullah ta'ala alayhi had advised him, when you go to sleep, after reading your wadha'if and your awrad and du'as, read Surah Kafirun. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun. The entire surah. Read Surah Kafirun, and without speaking to anybody, go to sleep. Meaning, the last thing you should do is read Surah Kafirun and go to sleep. If you are forced to speak for whatever reason, then recite Surah Kafirun again and then go to sleep. Insha'Allah Azza wa Jal, by doing this, you will die with iman. Subhanallah. Furthermore, Al-Hazrat rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi advised this person. This is actually advice for us as well, that you should recite, Allahumma inna na'udhu bika min an nushrika bika shay'an na'lamuhu wa nastaghfiruka lima la na'lamuh. Recite this 3 times. in the morning and 3 times in the evening. Furthermore, another wazifa, another incantation that inshallah ta'ala, if we practice upon, inshallah, if Allah Azza wa Jal wills, we will die with iman, inshallah ta'ala. Ala Hazrat rahmatullah ta'ala alayhi advised on another wazifa, that is, recite Bismillahi ala dini, Bismillahi ala nafsi, wa wuldi, wa ahli, wa mali. Recite this 3 times in the morning and 3 times in the evening. By reading this, inshallah ta'ala, one's iman, one's belief, one's life, one's wealth and children will be protected. Subhanallah. Inshallah ta'ala, if we have a look at Shajara At-Tariyah, for those who have ijazah and permission to recite this, then in there as well this dua is mentioned. Inshallah ta'ala, we should try and make amal and practice upon this. Dear Islamic brothers, dear viewers and listeners of Madani channel, whichever unlucky person dies in a state of disbelief, in a state of kufr, the grave will crush this person to such an extent that his ribs will interlock with each other. The ribs of both sides will interlock because of the extreme crushing of the grave of his body. For the disbelievers, they will have an even worse torment than this. They will have to spend their time under terrifying conditions where each day on the Day of Judgment will be equal to 50,000 years. Can we imagine? One day on the Day of Judgment will be 50,000 years duration, the length of this. The non-believers, they will be dragged on their faces and forced into the terrifying pits of Jahannam as a sign of humility and disgrace for everybody to see. These people who did not believe in Allah Azza wa Jal, who did not believe in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they will be disgraced by them being dragged on their faces and then flung into the pits of Jahannam. May Allah Azza wa Jal save us, save our iman and of our family members as well. Eventually, when the sinful Muslims are removed from Jahannam, remember some Muslims who are sinners, if they are not forgiven through the medium, the shafa'ah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or the grace and rahmah of Allah Azza wa Jal, they will also have to face torments in Jahannam for a period of time. When they are finally removed from Jahannam, only those will remain in Jahannam who died as disbelievers. They will remain eternally in the fire of hell. Finally, the disbelievers, they will be locked in a box the size of their body, and this box will be made of fire. It will be filled with fire as well. A lock of fire will then be placed on this box. This box of fire will then be placed into another box made of fire, and in between these two, more fire will be lit. Again, another lock of fire would be placed on this second box. This would then be placed into another box of fire, and this too will be locked with another lock of fire. Maut, death, will then be brought in the form of a sheep. It will be placed in between Jannah and Jahannam. It will be placed between heaven and hell. And then this sheep, which represents maut, death, it will be slaughtered. It will be slaughtered. From then on, nobody will ever die. Every person who is in Jannah, who is in heaven, will live forever in heaven. And every person who is in hell will now live forever in hell. The people in Jannah, the people who are in heaven, in paradise, will be full of happiness. But the people who are in Jahannam, who are in the hellfire, they will be full of regret. We should make dua to Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal. O Allah Azza wa Jal, we plead to you that we die in peace with iman, with our belief intact, that we be blessed with shahada, with martyrdom in the blessed city of Madinatul Munawwarah, Zadahullahu Sharafu wa Ta'azima, with the privilege of being buried in Jannatul Baqi' and becoming the neighbors of our beloved Rasul Sallallahu Ta'ala Alaihi Wa Alihi Wasallam in the highest heaven. Which is the highest heaven? Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen bijahin Nabil Ameen. Dear Islamic brothers, dear viewers and listeners of Madani channel, we should never give up hope in the infinite mercy of Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal. Continue to travel with the Madani Qafilas of Dawat Islami. And in this manner, inshallah ta'ala, you will educate yourself on how to protect Iman. Look at the concern that is displayed by our beloved Rasul Sallallahu Ta'ala Alaihi Wa Alihi Wasallam in safeguarding our Iman. It is stated in Ruhul Bayan, volume 10, page 315, that once Satan the disgraced disguised himself and approached Rasulullah Sallallahu Ta'ala Alaihi Wa Alihi Wasallam. In his hand, he had a bottle of water. Satan, the humiliated, said, "At the time of death, I sell this bottle in exchange for a person's Iman." After hearing this, Rasulullah Sallallahu Ta'ala Alaihi Wa Alihi Wasallam cried so much that even his blessed family members began to cry. Allah Azza wa Jal then sent a message that, O beloved, do not become sad. I protect my servants at the time of death from the tricks of Satan. Subhanallah. Dear Islamic brothers, dear viewers and listeners of Madani channel, have you seen the concern of Rasulullah Sallallahu Ta'ala Alaihi Wa Alihi Wasallam for us, his ummatis, his followers? What are we doing? Should we not be obedient to Allah Azza wa Jal and Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? If we are, inshallah ta'ala, we will have a good end. If not, and we keep engaging in sins upon sins and not making sincere tawbah and repentance, there's a possibility the person could lose his Iman. May Allah Azza wa Jal, for the sake of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, for the sake of Sahaba Kiram and all awliya Allah, protect our Iman. Grant us a good shaheed maut in beautiful Madinatul Munawwarah. Ameen bijahin Nabil Ameen. Sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wa alihi wa sallam. Sallu ala al-Habib. Sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam.
Attar is my guide, Attar is my guide. By the grace of Allah, Attar is my guide. My Murshid has changed millions of lives. The prophetic Sunnah, he is revived. The leader of the Sunnis, he is our pride. By the grace of Allah, Attar is my guide.